Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going on a quest for truth together. Yes, we really are. Hello, friends. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well on this fine Monday evening. Let's get our little music set up here, shall we now? Well, you know what's interesting? On the last show, I put something out there, and obviously I wasn't the only one thinking that way. Well, first of all, let's go say hello to everybody, because there's a full house here. Oh my goodness, look at, well, hello, Emily. Welcome to the program. Oh, you're the first one here. Awesome. Good work, Emily. And Catherine Weiss, a good friend of the program, an awesome mod. Welcome to the program. And Mud Rabbit. Hello, Mud Rabbit. Welcome to the program. Another awesome mod and a great person as well. Yes, we've got a great team here, folks. A great team. That is true. Yes. Oh, you got another egg. Oh, do you have Mud Rabbit must be laying eggs for Easter now, huh? Is that what it is? Mud Rabbit's laying Easter eggs. Is that what it is? Oh my goodness. What was that I just saw? Oh my goodness, Catherine Weiss. Thank you so much for the super chat. I didn't even see that till just now. Chat is very active. It's hard to keep up. Welcome to the program, everybody. And thank you so much, Catherine, for that awesome super chat. That helps a lot. Yeah, I'm a little bundled up today. My furnace is still on life support. I'm having to manually kick it in because it doesn't do it all by itself. So, but I wait until it's cold in here. It's getting there. It's getting there. Okay. Oh, you bought 3 chickens for Yardbirds this weekend. Yardbirds. Okay. I've got a fenced-in backyard, but I guess chickens don't need fenced-in yards. I guess if they like the food, they stick around. Is that the idea? I heard that now some people are having trouble with the chickens laying eggs because it turns out Tractor Supply or Tractor Warehouse, one of these outlets, they have board members on their board that are from the WEF. So that might have something to do with the chicken feed not getting the yields that you would get, or no eggs. So what some people are doing are switching to goat feed, and the goat feed, they love that, and they're laying eggs like crazy. So maybe you get some goat chow. I don't know what they call it. Goat something. Tractor Feed Supply is supplied by Cargill, which is with the WEF. You know, I worked with a guy whose name was Cargill. He's part of the family. It's a family business. And hello, Jacob Waters. Yes, we're having a good night here. And, you know, things move so rapidly, and I'm so glad that the internet is here so we can find out things. On the last show, I was kind of lamenting about the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and, you know, they've got this evil, dark vision of the future that they're trying to coerce everybody into. And I said, wouldn't it be nice? We should start our own like WEF 2.0, where we like promote people instead of trying to get rid of them, you know. And lo and behold, I guess there's a TikToker, 60 Minutes, about Jordan Peterson. He has started a consortium based in the UK, but they're setting it up as an alternative to the WEF, and they're asking questions, and it's very interesting, very, very interesting. So look that up. I had it all set up, but my computer crashed, and I lost all the tabs. Were all open, and it's that's what happens. So, but look that up, Jordan Peterson, if you're curious about that. They're setting up an alternative to the WF, which I think is great, because they've got such a dark vision, and it needs to be upended by better visions. You know, there's plenty of plenty on this planet. It's a planet of plenty. So there's plenty of everything for everybody. It's never going to run out. We're fleas on the back of a dog. There's lots of dog area. You know, I lived in Rhode Island for a couple years, or almost a couple years, back in the big 80s. And I was surprised to learn, and this is what I learned back then. I don't even know if it's even true, but this is what I was told, or I learned back then, because, you know, I was curious. Smallest state, kind of cute, Rhode Island, when I worked at Hasbro. But it's the smallest state. I think it's only like 51 miles by 27 miles. It's like really tiny. And yet, according to some source I was hearing from back then, 65% of the land in that tiny little state, smallest state, 65% of the land is unexplored. Unexplored? What? Really? Really? So, and they had millions of people living there. I think 3 million plus people. Maybe that was only in Providence, I'm not sure. But there are millions of people there. But the idea that the smallest state, the tiniest state, you take a wrong turn, you're out of the state. Is 65% unexplored? I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe someone can check me on that. But that always, so the whole idea of overpopulation is just such a misnomer, you know? So there you go. So chickens, that's pretty cool. You got chickens. I've been thinking about that, getting some chickens, because I'm eating eggs again. But then you have to take care of the animals, you know? It's, you know. Oh, Operation Shutdown, because we're just downrange of stranger. The outrageous is contagious, and the paranormal is the new normal here at the Truth Quest. That much land is unexplored, Rhode Island. That's just downrange of strange. It is. But I don't know if that's true or not. This is what I heard back in the big 80s when I lived out there. But I had a lot of fun out there. I learned something interesting out there. I learned that every coin-operated machine in that state was owned by the mob. Isn't that interesting? Makes you wonder what else is owned there by the mob. There. A lot. So yeah, there's even this part of town where it's up on a hill, And you enter this part of town, and it's got this metal archway. And on top of the archway is a giant pineapple. I don't know what this means. Giant pineapple on top. And once you cross through this gateway, I think it was in Providence, now there's not a white line in the middle of the road. There's not a yellow line in the middle of the road. There's 3 colors. And it's the 3 colors of the Italian flag. It's the Italian part of town. I'm like, what? This is weird. And I went there with a friend and went to this restaurant, and I was commenting, asking questions to the waitress there, and it was a nice place. But there was this area right by the door that looks like there could be a table there, but it was just no table there. And I said, that looks kind of odd right there, this part of the restaurant. It looks like there should be a table there. She said, well, there was a table there, but some people got mowed down there, and we removed the table out of respect. Like, whoa. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, we're in the Italian part of town, and people get mowed down just by sitting in tables, apparently. I start worrying that I might look like somebody that they might be after. Like, that'd be my luck. I happen to look like someone they're after. Boy, wouldn't that suck? But yeah, it was kind of scary. It was kind of scary living out there. I was so glad to move back to the Midwest, back to Minnesota, where it's like you can just relax. There's not all those people. Because what I found was when there's all these people around you, you can kind of feel it. You can kind of like feel all that chaos. And when you're in an area with expansive areas and not a lot of people, it's like, kind of this calmness that comes over you. At least for me. Did I see someone say Combat Carl? Hey, Mad Pogue. Oh, there's Combat Carl. Hello, Carl. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. I hope all is well. Yeah. So yeah. Isn't that something? Jordan Peterson starting a consortium of thinkers and people, problem solvers, as an alternative to the WEF. I think that's fantastic. It's amazing. I just mentioned that last show. You must be watching. Great minds think alike, don't you think? That's why you're living in the mountains? Because you can just rollerblade anywhere from there because you're way up there, right? That's right. We be squatting. Oh, you know what, folks? I think I want to show you this. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. They call it a glitch in the Matrix. And I saw this a few years ago, but apparently it's making the rounds again. And I'm not sure if this has been debunked. Maybe some of you will remember this, or maybe you've seen it, and you can help me figure this darn thing out here. Okay? So check this out, will ya? Oops. I hit share. There it should go. All right. Now we got to get over there. All right, here we go. Watch this.
Alors, c'est comme un mystère, un arbre qui transperce une voiture de part et d'autre.
So there's a tree going through the roof there. Have you seen this?
On ne sait vraiment pas ce qui s'est passé. Voilà la voiture traversée et l'arbre.
Now, this could be faked. I think someone might have said, oh, it's Photoshop, but he looks underneath the car here. And see, there's the tree trunk going up. And he also looks inside. Now, there's a foreign language, so it's not in America, I don't think. It's in some foreign country. I don't know that the make of that car is a weird looking name, so. They're all taking pictures of it. Have you all seen this? Now he's going to go in the window and you're going to see it inside. Watch this. This is so cool. So there it is. It's coming up through the seat. But how is this possible? If this truly is the way it is. Yeah, how long has that car been sitting there? I think someone just parked it there and they came out and this tree was grown through it. But it couldn't have grown through it. It's some kind of, I don't know if it's some kind of glitch. Now, I do know that UFOs have been implicated in making trees either get really old or get really young. They have some kind of effect on plants, possibly. But I don't know. Oh, that's the strangest thing you ever saw? Yeah. Yeah, I remember that from a few years ago. It just came up again. I thought that was interesting. You know what? I'm going to try putting it on full screen and see what happens. Well, first we'll hit replay again. I'm going to hit full screen and see if I can. Did it go to full screen? I couldn't come back and watch it. We'll try it again.
On ne sait vraiment pas ce qui s'est passé. Voilà la voiture traversée et l'arbre qui déborde. En bas de la voiture, on voit la souche de l'arbre là-bas. Voilà. On ne sait pas comment cette voiture en est arrivée là. C'est incroyable. Alors, c'est un miracle. C'est incompréhensible.
Look at that.
Au-delà de tout entendement, ouais. Moi, je voyais des gens assembler, je ne voulais pas prendre. Après, quand je regarde, je dis, c'est mystérieux ça. Voilà. Incroyable, un arbre. Comme vous pouvez le voir, qui transperce la voiture.
Look at that. That's pretty wild.
De part et d'autre, traverse jusqu'au siège qui est transpercé.
See that little stuffing coming out of the seat there? Bizarre. It's freaky. So how would they have to do? Cut the tree down? To tow the car away? That's odd. That's odd indeed. Yes, indeedy. That's very odd. Well, I hope that worked at the full screen. I'm not sure how that looked on here. I couldn't get back to here to see it. Oh, this might be Quebec? Okay. So it could be like some kind of special effects project. Like I can see maybe they had to cut this tree down and they said, hey, let's do a prank. So they got this car. They'd have to cut a hole in the top. They could cut the tree in a certain way where they could feed it down the hole in the top in the seat and then just rest it back into the trunk somehow. I don't know. Yeah. Full screen worked. All right. Well, now I know that works. Thanks, Madpo. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah? That could, well, but how would they get it up through the bottom of the... That's really strange. Very, 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 very strange. So I thought that'd be a good thing to look at. Touch might like that. And then, you know, you wonder why more people aren't doing shows about revealing the truth about UFOs and things like this. You wonder why there aren't more of them. Well, here's one reason why there aren't more of them. And I'm going to turn off the background music here. All right. So this is a real X-Men in Men in Black. X-Men in Black speaks one time and exposes the truth before he passed in a year later. So this is from 1988, I think. But it's very important. Take a listen to this, will you?
This man's name is Joseph Spencer. He recorded this interview in 1989. He was dying, and he actually died the following year in 1990. It's the only time he's ever talked about this on camera. It's about 14 minutes long, and I'll just show you a few clips. But he's ex-CIA. More importantly, he claims to be ex-Men in Black. And just check out what he's saying here.
This transition in my life happened in 1970. The senior Black project director was William P. Latham. I worked under CIA Executive Director Richard Schlesinger. Latham stated that I was the perfect candidate for my new position. I was a foster child, and I had no connections to existing relatives. I had no friends or social life. It was easy for them to erase my past and provide me with a new identity. I gave myself to them as a priest would to his God. But first, my mind had to be with it. I was injected with various forms of mind-altering drugs, LSD, heroin, mescaline, morphine, sodium pentothal, and more. Drug-induced hypnosis, followed with antegrade and retrograde amnesia. The goal was to program me to do two things: kill and forget. After 9 months of programming, I had become a man in black. What I later discovered was that not all the men in black were human. About a third were alien hybrids. Their distinctive feature was the absence of whites in their eyes, giving the impression of empty eye sockets. This unsettled me, and it took months to adjust to the reality of alien integration. My assignments largely dealt with UFO sightings and crash sites. In August of 1971, I witnessed my first UFO crash site just north of Edwards Air Force Base in California. Inside the craft were 3 gray humanoids, 2 dead, 1 still alive. Also in the craft was a human female abductee. The alien humanoids were transported to the base. The 2 witnesses had arrived before us and took several photographs. The first surrendered his camera, but the second fled. When we apprehended him, he resisted, and I was ordered to silence him, which I did. The killing of witnesses was executed with a wand that acted very much like today's case. If the voltage from the wand caused immediate cardiac arrest, the victim's death to be attributed to natural causes. He silenced countless victims, not only men, but women of all ages and even teenagers. The following day, after each kill, our memories were reset, so we would have no recollection of the murder. A good majority of the victims were ufologists and whistleblowers. Among the ufologists I personally silenced were Paul William Cooper, Milton Day, Claude Monroe, Anthony Vargas, and noted documentarian Samantha Willis. When my wand malfunctioned with Samantha, it resorted to strangulation. We fought for her life for almost 2 minutes. In recalling this act, we stared into her bleeding eyes for the entire duration, feeling no remorse, guilt, or feeling. That was how effective the mind conditioning was. And it's her face that haunts my dreams more than anyone would say.
So they stuffed out a documentarian.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Right. We're going to move on. 1954, White Eisenhower signed what's known as the Granada Treaty with the alien gray race. In exchange for shared alien technologies, the Greys were allowed to abduct a number of humans annually for medical examination. The Greys also demanded anonymity from the public. A short time later, human technology took a giant leap forward with circuit chips, fiber optics, and lasers. The Granada Treaty is still active today, but the number of human abductions has increased despite objections from the world governments. Now, the really interesting part. Every year, at least 8 million children go missing in the world. I can attest that 1/3 of them are abducted by government operatives and transported to any one of the 1,477 underground military installations on the planet, then imprisoned for the remainder of their lives. The children are subjected to biological and genetic experiments, dissection, and mutilation performed not by human scientists, but an alien gray species. During my stay at the Vanguard Underground Base north of Phoenix, Arizona, I witnessed many of these procedures. Because there is no form of anesthesia administered to the young patients, the halls reverberated with the screams of tortured children from morning to night. The ones that perished were incinerated in the installation's crematorium. My point of contact at this base was Lieutenant Colonel Charles P. Leninger. He was a human alien hybrid. And get ready for this. In 1994, the World Population Summit in Cairo, Egypt, had 160 nations participate, where they all agreed that the human population was out of control and must be stopped because the world was running out of resources. An agreement was formed that would mandate reduction of humans from 6 billion to 800 million by the year 2030. This meant finding a method or methods to wipe out nearly 95% of the population. Solutions were discovered, investigated, tested, then created, and have been in full force since. The procedures have been inflicted onto the human race are as follows. 1. Toxic levels of chemically enhanced fluoride have been secretly added to our drinking water over the last 20 years in every city and community on the planet. I personally oversaw the delivery of fluoride barrels to Denver, Chicago, Tampa, and Minneapolis water departments. The adverse effects of fluoride poisoning to the human body are numerous and debilitating. The effects to children is damage to their neurological development, among other serious ailments. 2. Man-made viruses and diseases. The AIDS virus, which was a designer byproduct of the American Disease Institute, was distributed through vaccines to the public in 1980. Instituted as a preliminary population control tactic, the results were successful and led to more lab-produced viruses that have since been unleashed onto the public. Among those is the development of a mutated version of the common flu, to replicate the 1918 influenza pandemic that killed 40 million people. The first strain of this new flu virus will be released to the public in late 2017. So if we see a flu outbreak in the late 2017 or early 2018 that's killing people, we'll know this is true. All right. Great. Killing us from the air with neurotoxins, barium chloride, cancer microbes, and viruses by way of chemtrails. Released into the skies daily over all inhabited regions by military aircraft. The effects of these toxins are severe and over time lethal, causing respiratory ailments, cancer, damage to the immune system, and sterilization in men. Since the chemtrail plan was implemented, sperm count in men has dropped nearly 50%. This isn't
So I know that was difficult to hear a little bit. The guy's voice is not, it's hard to hear even with a good copy, but that was just a TikTok. And so it looks like.
Here's Yoel Roth.
Whoa,
Big.
whoa. No. That was Dan Bongino yelling at us there. Oops. That was Dan Bongino screaming at us. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Yeah, he did. And you know how, notice how he said 2017 or 2018 for this man-made, you know what, to come out? Well, that was probably delayed because of the appearance of Trump. So there you go. Not too shabby of a prediction right there. And how sad. Now, he started this job in 1970. He said that he was the ideal person for the job because he had no family. He was a foster kid. He had no friends, no social life. So they could easily erase his memory and give him a new personality. Then they gave him all kinds of drugs and all kinds of LSD and all kinds of bad stuff to mess his mind up so that he would be a killing machine, basically. And he found out that when he became a man in black, one of the men in black, that a third of them are alien human hybrids. Alien human hybrids that have no whites in their eyes. That's how you can tell them. It looks like they have no eyes, but there's just no white part. He said it took him a long time to get used to that. Can you imagine? And these people are going out killing people. He's got this wand. He says it works a lot like a taser. And it just makes you have a heart attack. How sad, you know. So they went to this crash site. There were two people there. One person gave up their pictures. The other one ran, and he wouldn't give them up, so he killed him. This is terrible, folks. This is incredibly terrible. These agencies are ruled by demons, basically, and so that's really quite sad indeed. Oh, the entire video. Okay, good. So go and check that out, download that, and watch it whenever you can if you missed some of that. But yeah, he said that the people that they killed were mostly ufologists and whistleblowers. So the next time you hear testimony from a whistleblower or a ufologist, listen real closely. It might be the last time you hear from them. I can't imagine they've stopped this. Isn't that scary? I think it's a little more difficult for them to kill people now, but they're still doing it. You can't, these people, they've never, well, they kind of can do whatever they want. They can break whatever laws they want. and all that kind of stuff. Send your inquiries, photos, and stories to Aaron to share, yes, on the show, my P.O. box. And so that's where I got that nice card from Mud Rabbit. And there we go. It's around here somewhere. Oh, and look what else happened the other day. I got to see my son a couple times, and one of his kids, and also my daughter and my grandson. And look, I got an early Valentine from Evan, my grandson. Isn't that cute? Grandpa, love you from the tips of my toes to the bottom of my heart. Oh, isn't that just sweet? Love it. And for a kid who's not even one yet, that's pretty good writing. It's pretty good penmanship, I'd say. Awesome. Thank you, Evan. That rocks. Yeah, isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Oh, the music. Thank you, Kathy. Let's see here. Where is that music? There it is. So sorry about that. We were watching a video and I just completely forgot. Aaron's going to bake us cookies. I did make brownies the other day, but it's from a box. You just kind of dip the box in some water and you put the box in the oven and then it comes out and you can't eat it. I think that's how you make it. That's how I made it. No, it's not how I made it. But I tell you, the pre-made box stuff, I don't know, man. It tastes kind of weird. You know, what are they putting crickets in there now? What is this? Oh, the music is loud compared to my voice. Is that better? Let me check. It's at 23. That should be a good level. Maybe I need to adjust this a little bit. Is that better? I have to lean in and talk, maybe? I don't know. Well, wasn't that something? Yes. There's 1,477 deep underground military bases, and kids are delivered to each one of them, according to this guy. And they're tortured for their whole lives. Done horrible experiments on them. No anesthesia given. It's absolutely horrifying. It's got to stop. Has to stop. The music is still loud? I got it at 19 now. Is that better? Is that better? Let me check. There is no mic. It's the mic that's built in. It's louder than normal. There's no mic. There's no mic gain. There's no mic. It's just the mic that's on my confuser. It's the built-in iMac mic. Mac mic. iMac mic. Say that 3 times fast. You don't hear the music like before now? I'm not sure if that means it's too low now, or does that mean it's too low? I don't hear the music like before. Oh, now it's very low. I went from 23 to 19, so let's bring it. I'll bring it back up to 23. 23. Is that too loud now? We'll get this figured out. Two more comments. I'd rather hear you, bro. All right, that's cool. Thanks, Josh. All right. Yeah, it's always something, isn't it? I didn't change anything. Everything's the same. So I don't know. I have my volume turned down. Maybe that's it. Turn my volume up. Is that better? It's Monday. Yes, it's Monday. But tomorrow's Tuesday. Yay, Tuesday. Yes, my computer has the case of the Mondays. Well, let's see what else we have here for you, friends, on this lovely day. Lovely day. Oh, it's good now? Oh, thanks, Catherine. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Just gonna... Come on now. Oh, no. No. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. You're kidding me, right? Oh, my God. Lordy, look who's 40. Guess what happened just now? My confuser froze up. Again! I'm so sorry. Guess what that means? Means we all can take a little break, come back in a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. Hopefully, we'll be able to show you some pictures. All right, we'll see you on the other side of this. Couple minutes. The music should keep playing for y'all. I'm glad it's at a good level now. We'll see you in about 2 minutes. Time me. And we're back again. Oh my goodness, friends. Wow. Zoinks. Maybe I should just show you on my phone what I wanted to show you, so it doesn't freak out and freeze up on me. Oh. There we go. All right. All right, let me see which one of these is going to be good. Here's a picture of me and my grandson. You see him? You see it? Kind of hard to see. Yeah.
Is that funny? Is that funny? Here, give it back to Grandpa. Watch this. Whoops.
There he is. Giggling away.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So there's that. Isn't that fun? Yeah, he's quite a character. And my other two grandkids are awesome too. So there you go. That's why we're here, friends. To make a better world for the little ones. So they can have a nice, long, happy life with very little strife. Yes, that's what we got to do. Okay, let me try this again and see if this is going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll be upset. But the show must go on, right? Let's try this. Okay, this is the nebula picture that I used for the thumbnail for today's show, but I mirrored it. I took this and I mirrored it, and I got some cool images. So there's you go. Now, how about this? See, in the old days they had things figured out. We just forgot. Check this out. Goat rides comfortably in sack on running board. See, that's why I got to bring running boards back so we can carry our goats around with us, right? I mean, how many times have you been driving your car thinking, gosh, I really wish there was a way to carry my goat on the outside of the car? I mean, that would be ideal, right? It wouldn't eat up the upholstery, like they always do. And and bother you while you're driving. No, that just answers it right there. And speaking of things pestering the driver, nothing worse than someone or something pestering the driver. Well, that happens nowadays. But look to the past for the answers. Here, my friends, is another answer to another thing that bothers people driving, and that is, yes, a little kid. So here you go, the auto strap for front seat tots. Only $1.88. Guards your child as you're busy driving through traffic. Lets him sit, stand, kneel, or sleep without disturbing driver. Prevents spills from sudden stops. Heavy web harness attaches to safety strap that snaps to car seat frame. Removes easily. If it removes easily, how safe could it be? Also used as walking harness. For 1 to 10-year-olds, you might want to strap up your 10-year-old so he doesn't bother you while you're driving. Really? I'm sure they wanted to sell as many of these $1.88 things as they could. They wanted to fit as many age groups as they could in there. There you go. See, they had it all figured out in the past, friends. They had it all figured out. We just forgot. Thank goodness for the internet. Now we can remember the good old days. Mentally ill 50-year-old dudes. Women's sports. Now, if you're like me, you know what this picture is. The person who's the mentally ill 50-year-old dudes, okay, she was a skater. These are both skaters, competitive skaters. And this girl here wanted to win so badly, but she knew this girl over here was a better skater. So she hired Galooly, I think his name was, the Galooly stick, to whack her in the legs with a stick so that she could knock her out of the competition. So this is what mentally ill 50-year-old dudes who say they identify as females just so they can get that damn trophy and make more girls cry. It's sick. Tanya Harding, yes. Tanya Harding. Yep. And the Galooly stick, right? I know some backseat drivers I have to get that for. Yeah. Oh, man. Ruined her entire career over that. Yes, she did. Well, Oh, my mom had to harness and leash my brothers that were twins because they were so naughty. Crazy Larry and Gary. Oh, my goodness. Double trouble. Yeah, she'd need that. You need all the help you can get with twins. I mean, we had some neighbor friends from years ago, and they ended up years later had twins. We weren't living by them then, but we heard some stories that these twins, they got out into the garage. They were just toddlers, and they got onto the snowmobile and they wiggled everything till all the parts came off. And then they got into one of the cars once. They were in a car and they got it to roll down the driveway. Well, they were in it. Just little kids, twins. Yeah, I can see, Peggy Dancer, why your mom would want to do that. Because I think twins, especially twin boys. Now I can't speak to women because I'm not really a woman, but as a boy, if I would have had a twin brother, I probably could have talked myself into a lot of things I talked myself out of. I would have otherwise talked myself out of. It's like another instigator. Yeah, watch out. Twins. Wow. Yeah. She just looks like a dude. Yeah, she kind of does. But these people nowadays, did you see that woman skater on, quite frankly, that transgender skater? Wiped out. Oh my God. Yikes. I'm sure it'll go viral. The big wipeout. Some kids are runners. Yep. Ooh. You know what? When I lived at the campground, I lived at the campground for a number of years, and my kids were young, and they shoot off in different directions. And it's like you get around dinner time, or it's getting late at night, and I'm trying to find them. I'm yelling their names, and I'm yelling, AJ, Alicia. All of a sudden, the campsite I'm just passing, my daughter goes, Dad, we're just here eating s'mores. Like, I used to get myself in such a tizzy, such a worrying about the kids. I had to finally just tell myself, look, they're fine, okay? I had to like calm myself down and just not be the crazy dad running around trying to figure out what's going on. Because that's not good. That's not good either. I had to find that happy medium. And I just had to remind myself, look, nothing happens to them. They're in a safe place. This is a very family-oriented place. And they had a blast there. And they have fond memories of it. So it was good. It was good. All right. We've been on this picture way too long. I had a car just like this without that stripe in the front. I don't think I had the cowl induction either, but it was a 68 Firebird, just like that. Forest green. This one might be black, but it was almost a black green. And man, was that car fun. Oh my God. 400 with a 4-speed. That thing, I got 4th gear rubber out of that thing. Just a chirp, but hey, 4th gear rubber. Burning through the gears. Hearst shifter, man, that thing was so tight, so fast. Man, that was the fastest car I owned. And I'm telling you, when I worked, I paid $200 for it. $200. And then a friend of mine smashed into me in the parking lot at school, smashed the front bumper, that beautiful chrome front bumper, and caused other damage to it. And I just wanted to get rid of it. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I sold it for the same price I bought it for to my friend Ray. Then he proceeded to driving it into a ditch and breaking the axle. So that's what happened to that. But yeah, that was a fun car. But when I worked at a dealership back in 2009, 2008, 2009, 2010, that era, I got to drive the new Camaro. I got in that thing because when I first started working there were no Camaros there. They were all sold out. Well, we got a couple in, and there was one parked right outside of the big picture window where my cubicle was, and I was just staring at it. My boss comes up and says, "Hey, Aaron, why don't you go out and take the Camaro for a ride and familiarize yourself with it?" I said, "What? Really? I mean, you'd let me do that? I mean, is that really? Okay, before you change your mind, I'll take that." Oh man, I took that thing out, and I found an old country road, which isn't hard to find around me. There's a lot of country roads, and I did like I did in the Firebird, and man, it felt so much like this, only tighter. But the only thing I didn't like about the new one was the lack of visibility. Good thing it's so fast, because you're going to want to go as fast as you can, because you can't see anything. You better go fast, get there quick before someone hits you, because you can't see. Now, the old ones you could see, but the new one, the windows are just too narrow. But anyway, it brought back so many memories. That was an awesome car. I almost lost that car on the lake once. I was taking a shortcut because they plow shortcuts in the lake. And the car stopped going, and there was a rooster tail of water behind me. Like, oh, crap. So I tried not to panic. I felt it sinking down. I stopped the car and it rolled slowly and got the heck out of there. I never went back on the lake after that. Thank goodness I didn't lose it. That would have sucked. Yeah. Yes. The new one did have a manual transmission. I think it was a 6-speed or something. I prefer the 4 speeds. I just think it's cooler. 4-speed. You know, I've always had 4 speeds. My Fieros were all 4 speeds. My Firebird was a 4-speed. My 34 Chevy had a 4-speed. 327, 365 horse up to 65 vet. With the Hurst stick. Yes, it was a Hurst shifter. Yes, it was. It was factory Hurst. Yep. It was so tight. I mean, this 68 Firebird was so tight. The shifting was so tight. It was just a beautiful car. I had to replace the carpet in it. Other than that, it was in really good shape. I should have kept it. Gosh, I should have kept it. It's probably worth a couple $100,000 now or something. I paid $200 for it. They were a dime a dozen back then. Everyone liked the newer ones that looked like a porpoise. I didn't like the newer ones. I thought they looked like crap. Looked like a porpoise with all those things stuck on it. The older ones were much cooler. Here's a car that the government stopped from happening. The Tucker, 1948 Tucker Torpedo. Look at that thing. Look at that. Now the center headlight would turn with the wheels so you could see where you were going. That center forward light, the light that's more forward than the other two, it would actually turn with the wheels. So, and look at that cool bumper. Man, that was a cool car. Unfortunately, the government prevented it from being built because they were protecting the other automakers. Yeah, watch the movie Tucker and you'll get the whole story. I think fairly accurately too. But yeah, they tried like crazy not to let him do that. Same thing they did to DeLorean. DeLorean got a little further though. He actually got his cars out. But DeLorean had to go to Ireland to make it happen because they were so dead set on DeLorean not making a car. GM was afraid he'd take business away. So, yeah, the world is not how we thought it was, really. And, you know, I'm not much of a sports fan, but I heard that the 49ers had to get their 4th string quarterback. 4th or 5th string? Did you hear this? Check this out. It looks kind of familiar. Oh, wait a minute. It's Al Bundy. Forced to put in their 5th string quarterback. I think he can do it. Look at that guy. Yeah. Funny you should mention Bricklin. I just saw a video where this guy goes and he finds old cars that don't run. Then he just stays there until he gets it running and then tries to drive it home. And he tried to drive this Bricklin home 700 miles, didn't quite make it. Didn't make it all the way. He once scored 4 touchdowns in one game. Yeah. That was such a funny show. So hilarious. Very funny. I remember when Peg thought he was cheating on her. So he had the neighbor dress up like a bum and follow Al around to see if he was cheating on Peg, because he wasn't interested in her. So she thought he was cheating on her. So he comes back and he's giving his assessment. He's been following Al around. He says, "This man lives the most pathetic life I've ever seen." He gets to work at 7:45. He weeps in the dark until 8 o'clock. Then he turns the light on. He's crying in the dark. Oh, he just paints such a miserable picture of this guy's life. So funny. Oh, that was, long time ago. I haven't watched these shows in so long. Probably one of the first seasons. But yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. Plus, well, that's the thing. He was always ogling other girls, but he wasn't interested in his wife, and she was pretty. I mean, come on now. I don't know. I didn't understand that part of it. That's the part I didn't understand about the show. The rest of it I thought was pretty good. But I don't know. Pretty funny. Funny show. But another show where they show the guy as a kind of a feckless kind of a guy. So here, Mr. Tweet, Elon Musk, is replying to Colin Rugg about the delay of the Fauci files. It's a little delayed, as a key researcher can only travel to Twitter in early February. I wonder who that is. A key researcher. Wonder who that could be. Interesting, huh? Mad Poke's got it all down there. 47 as props. Wow, every surviving Tucker. Wow, that's incredible. And there are beautiful cars. They are very beautiful cars. I mean, for 48, that was pretty forward thinking. Yeah, the show did have a lot of glitches, but it was very funny. It was slapstick, and that's what you watch stuff like that for. You get to slapstick. Yeah, I remember that when the Pentagon confirmed that. Yeah. There's all the info there. I'm not going to comment on it too much, but there that is. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Oh, look. A note in the bottle. What does it say, Gilligan? It says, "We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty." Darn! They're not going to get saved again. Oh, yeah, that Marco Polo is amazing. I got to get one of those books. That's just so awesome what they did there. They laid it all out, black and white. Yeah, that show was very well cast. The characters were perfect. A super well cast show. I remember one time, I think, when Al was going up on the roof to adjust the antenna or something, put the dish on or whatever it was, and he kept falling off of the roof, and you could see like they just throw a dummy down. You could just tell it was a dummy. That was so funny, though. Yes. It's going to drop the goods some more. Oh, good. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. There's got to be so much evidence so often that look, check this out. Here's an Outback towing an Outback parked out back of Outback. How often are you going to see that? That's pretty incredible, huh? I like that. I do like that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put the call in here. So if you want to call in, there's the what you call it? Did it go? There it went. Yeah, too many Outbacks. Yes, that dummy was severely double jointed. Yeah, it didn't really fall right, but it made it funnier. An obvious dummy. Oh, yeah. So funny. So funny. He was so done with everything. The look on his face sometimes was priceless. Yeah, some people were just born for certain roles. And that Al Bundy guy sure was born for that role. Ed O'Neill, yeah. Oh, really? You read that in his casting call, Ed O'Neill walked up to the front door of the house, sat, let out a long sigh of despair before opening the door, and they hired him just on that. I can believe it. I can totally believe it. Oh, look who we got here. It's Combat Carl driving his Outback.
That's right.
All right.
How's everybody?
You get a ceiling fan in that Outback of yours. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, well, sorry. I guess I could sit up a little bit.
That's okay. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good these days.
How's your wife, the fisherman, doing?
She is getting ready to come back home. She's been helping her mom and her dad move into their new house.
And was she fishing too?
She hadn't talked much about fishing lately.
Uh-oh.
She's doing a lot of work, so
maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it. She'll get the bug again.
No, she doesn't need any more. I think she got tennis elbow from last time she went fishing. She fished so much her elbow feel funny.
Oh no!
As she puts it.
Whoa. Well, you got to start using your feet then.
No kidding, right?
Oh, it looks like Dusty Blue is here. Welcome to the program, Dusty Blue.
Oh.
Yes, Al did have the perfect face mannerisms. He did. He was, and the way he'd sit in the couch and just put his hand in his pants. He just didn't care anymore.
Oh, you know what? We're almost there.
So, yeah, that is a hilarious show. There's certain shows just really are just uproarious.
But it's been forever since I've called in, and I figured it's about time.
Yeah. So what you been up to?
Just a check-in basis. Just trying to keeping up on things and working on my car a lot, on my truck a lot.
What kind of truck?
It's a Lincoln Navigator, and the air suspension has got a leak in it.
Oh boy!
It's the most obvious part was the passenger side bag, and I have taken that entire strut off. I don't know, a dozen times. Completely rebuilt it inside and out. Still couldn't find out what was causing the leak, so I bought a whole new strut, which cost like $600.
Oh my!
Put that in, and then it turns out that there's another leak on the driver's side. So, and I can, by myself, so I can only work 10 or 15 minutes, maybe an hour at most, before I got to take a break. And
Right.
it takes a lot of time doing it that way. But I've got it down to a science now, and power tools help out a lot. And I've taken the driver's side apart, rebuilt it from basically scratch, put it back together, and it's still leaking. So still missing something.
Oh my goodness. That's so frustrating.
Oh, this thing has been driving me crazy for a very long time. I've replaced hoses, O-rings like crazy. Just ordering one part at a time. Ordering one part at a time. But it's like, well, this is obviously broken. It needs to be replaced. I order it. It comes in. I replace it. Put it back together. Nope, something else. Take it apart. Figure out what else could be causing the leak. Order it. Find something new. Order it, and it's just been an ongoing process for months. In the meantime, the vehicle has no shocks, and every time I drive it, it does more damage to the shocks that are, the air struts that are already there, that I'm trying to repair and, spending good money into it. So I need to find out what is actually causing these air leaks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's and without, redoing the entire system, like I said, I bought a whole new shock. And then once I bought that shock and installed it, I used the other shock for parts. And when I took it apart, I found out why it wasn't holding air. One of the O-rings got torn during installation. So yay. So on the driver's side, I'm doing it again. Hi, buddy. And I've had to take it off twice just to make sure none of the O-rings got torn. What are you doing up there? You want to be on TV? Is that all it is? But
Mad Poke says Lincoln aggravator.
Yeah, it's an aggravator for sure. I love the truck, and I love that the shocks in it, the air system. It is the smoothest ride ever. But when you got a leak, it causes problems. I mean, it's not a sophisticated system, but it's freaking air and O-rings and a misalignment, a small dry rot crack, a crack cut somewhere in the hose, anywhere in that system. And it's had me looking for months. I'm still looking for it.
Wow.
Really? No, go ahead. Hi.
That is your dog snoring then. Okay. Or breathing.
Growling. Yeah.
He's growling. Okay. Hey, Pooch.
That's Silver Bells right there.
Silver Bells?
Yeah, Silver Bells. He's a pretty boy.
Must be a Christmas puppy.
I named him Silver.
That's cool.
The color. Wife named him Bells.
Oh, okay.
The other dog, Colonel, she named him Popcorn. So you got Popcorn, Colonel, and Silver Bells.
There you go. That sounds like a country western song right there.
Well,
so did you see this little comic here? Two sharks. One shark's got the tuba. The other shark says, "I like Jaws too, Phil, but it's impossible to sneak up on people when you do that." Dun, 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 dun. That's hilarious.
Well, I'm glad you got to see the grandkid. He looked absolutely adorable.
Yeah, here's his feet prints.
That's awesome. That's a great keepsake.
Oh yeah, I got one of those from my first granddaughter. So that's kind of nice. And probably be getting one from my second granddaughter too. So that'll be nice. That will be nice.
Well, I heard you talking about you wanted chickens. Oh, look at that. Oh, she is precious.
Dad bought her, this is not my kid. Dad bought her a cat to forget about the phone, but this is what happened. So the cat, look at the cat. The cat's got his shirt on and everything.
Yeah, funny. Now she's got a friend to share her social media with.
Yeah, so the dad thought the cat would distract her from the thing, and the cat's just a participant in it.
That's kids for you. That is kids for you. Oh, I hate glasses, but getting to the point where I really just can't see very well, and I definitely can't read and anything small. I'm just grateful my computer monitor is 75 inches.
Mm-hmm.
But, to see my monitor, I have to take the glasses off, which is where I can read the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the phone, the camera on the phone is just, it's funny. Anyway.
Here's an idea for you folks out there in the interwebs. This guy did it back when in the 90s. In the 90s, a California man, Steve Cosmer, began putting ads in national magazines selling solar-powered dryers for $49.95. Customers would then receive a simple clothesline in the mail.
That is awesome.
I love it.
Not false advertising, that's for sure.
It's true.
Oh, absolutely. But
won't work at night though.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, with all this political craziness that's going on, I had to just step back and just really wrap my brain around how long of a process this is going to take.
Oh yeah.
And I, because I was really hoping, the midterms would have been the deal. Right. They have enough. They know all the bad actors. All the bad actors have already been caught. But it never answered why they keep putting these lookalikes and these, actors in their places. And when I thought about that, it's just like, okay, so this is a much longer game than even though Trump keeps saying that it's going to happen quicker, it's going to happen sooner. And the strides that we made during the midterms were astounding, absolutely freaking amazing. Yeah. And and you see all this stupid, when you watch the news and you see all these news articles. I mean, I got my news channel. That's all I do is I see this information day in and day out, and I'm looking at it all, and I sit back and go, distraction. All right, what's the important part? This one, and this one. And then what do you when you watch any other show, all they want to do is talk about the distractions. They don't want to talk about anything positive. They're just pushing the same BS deep state narrative that's on mainstream media and even mainstream media. When mainstream media is getting involved in it, then it's a distraction. Hello, people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But everything is progressing. Everything is progressing and then it is at a rapid pace for what they're doing. Like I said, I've never been a fan of the long process. I would rather just rip the thorn out or, amputate a leg if you have to cut the rod out. And, I can find a crutch or a prosthetic, so can America and so can the rest of the world,
Well, I hear you there, and I'm with you on that. It would be nice to see something happen quickly, but you got to remember our opponents here, the evil ones. They don't have an urgent timeline. They've gone generations to do this.
Oh yeah.
So
this war has been going on for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
This is the only time in history where where we've had not the only time. I mean, the Civil War. Okay. So the Civil War wasn't the North versus the South. That's deep state propaganda. It was Republicans versus Democrats, just like it is right now. The only problem is that the deep state has control of both Republicans and Democrats. So,
yeah.
So it's the people fighting against the people we supposedly voted in, or, that got appointed into these elected positions. That's all it really is.
Right.
And it makes you wonder why they allow some people to get elected and other people clearly selected.
Because they want to control everything. They're control freaks.
Right. But I mean, when you have that much control, the deep state has insane amount of control. I mean, rigging every election and, since before we were alive, for the most part.
Well, they're not rigging every election because Marjorie Taylor Greene wouldn't have won.
About that.
So some are slipping through, and enough are slipping through to make a difference. And I think the people are waking up, and we're coming to a point where, it's.
Well,
but that's what this World War III distraction is going to come in, and these globalist idiots that want to control everything. You better believe they're going to have a lot of control when they're going on the news every night and saying, well, I know it's been a month since the atomic bomb dropped, but, watch the radiation levels are like, stay in your home, wear your mask. They're going to get
wear your mask.
They'll get everybody.
I mean, but this
do
is
whatever they want to do because of the invisible radiation thing.
Right.
I think that's what they want. They really want that. And we have to all really super pray really hard that does not happen.
Well, they want 75% of the population gone.
Yeah.
And they're already working on the 50%.
Yeah.
Even if they only get 30%, that's still a massive loss on our end.
Mm-hmm. But people are waking up at a rate never seen before, and we have the 17th letter of the alphabet to thank for that, because a lot of us got the head start, and it's those people collectively now who are breaking the mainstream stranglehold on new facts.
Here's the problem. All right, so the long game. All right, they're playing the long game, and they're cutting it off by decades. The alliances, they're slowly like these deep state agents with patriots and whatnot, and they want to change the system to a degree, but they don't really want to change the system a whole lot. As you can see, they're not really pushing for any major change. They want to keep everything flowing as close to normal as possible, slowly making adjustments here and there. But as a patriot, as an American, a sovereign individual, I don't want to have anything to do with this insane, corrupt system that we were born into. And you can't go back to 1776. You can't reinstate the Constitution unless you completely dissolve what is currently in play today. They're still pushing this digital currency. They're still pushing, there's, and I understand that there are positive aspects to all this crap that they're throwing at us. But the corruption is so deep and so vast that you're never going to learn the truth. You're never going to learn your history. You're never going to understand who you are, what you are, why you're here at this time. If you just, and I hate this waiting, this waiting game, because I don't agree with the waiting game. I think everybody should stand up, but there's not, the biggest problem is there's not enough of us. I mean, we're so uneducated. The few that are educated in very pinpoint, very narrow bandwidths. They know what they know, and then they speculate about everything else instead of learning about everything else. I've spent my life learning as much as I can about as many topics as I can, so I can understand the bigger picture. The fine details of certain things are important. Don't get me wrong, and we need our specialists who focus on that. But we don't need those specialists broadcasting their information, outside of what they've studied. I was watching a gentleman on Red Pill 78 talking about how Atlantis was in Florida and all of this. Now, he's a great researcher. But when it comes to Atlantis and Florida, he's speculating because there's already more than enough evidence out there. I mean, real physical evidence to show you that Atlantis is in Northwest Africa. It's been there this entire time. Just look at Google Earth. You can see how when the floods receded, that, the entire northern, all the mud and whatnot washed down over Atlantis, covered it in mud, and then washed all that mud out and created a bunch of islands. It doesn't take a damn genius to figure this stuff out. Yet they want to push bullshit distraction narratives it's a distraction. They don't want to do their research or don't want to accept somebody's research because of personal or political views that one person has. Look at the evidence that they provide. It's like Mud Fossil University. The guy is spot on so many things, but what he believes and what he speculates about and his political stance, I don't agree with none of that. But when it comes to the science of the petrified giant remains that he got DNA out of, look at the documents. It's there. You can't deny it. I mean, you can, but I mean, it's more evidence than than Bigfoot. Okay. All right. And there's, when you go back and look at the giant humanoids, well, we just call them giants. They're not really human. They're humanoid. There's overwhelming evidence that they existed. Every aspect, every continent on the planet, they've existed. And those who are in control of the deep state have done the damn good job of erasing history, but some things they can't erase. Some things are too large to erase.
Well, there's something we can do about that, though. And that is, we all need to get a big bag of beans, plant them in some nice fertile soil. And once that beanstalk gets tall enough, climb right up there and get a picture of those giants, because I know they're there. I heard about that.
Giants in the beanstalk. Now
here's the clouds.
Interesting about that particular story. When you look at toroidal fields, all right.
We're going there. Okay.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is the toroidal field is. I mean, if you follow any type of science or any type of mathematics, the toroidal field is always in there, and it's always barely brushed on. But more and more people every day agree that we are a resonant, energetic entity, not a physical construct. Okay, our physical constructs are a combination of frequencies that resonate together. Our cells resonate at a different frequency, our blood cells resonate at a different frequency than our veins. If they didn't resonate if they resonated at the same frequency, you would bleed out. There would be nothing to contain your blood. Okay, you can wear clothing, shirts on your skin because the fabric and your skin resonate at two different frequencies, so they create a friction. But the toroidal field, it's everything is toroidal. So the Earth is a toroidal field. That eliminates the whole flat Earth thing, because if an atom is a toroidal field and everything is built upon atoms, we'll just take out the word atom and replace it with a toroidal field, because we know the characteristic fundamentals of a toroidal field. And toroidal fields produced something similar. Well, I mean, it produces sound waves. It produces an energy wave that is identical to sound waves. Okay, I mean, it's the same properties. So, these sound waves produce energy, frequency, and vibration. These sound waves are constantly being, these toroidal fields, they're just constantly pulsing, pumping out these energy waves, these sound waves, and they're all bombarding on each other on a massive scale. And at the horizontal plane or the equator of these toroidal fields, it creates overlapping resonant fields, overlapping frequencies that resonate that vibrate at the same frequency. When that occurs, it creates what we consider solid matter. So,
say, Carl, my computer just froze up on me, so I'm going to have to turn my computer off again and turn it on again. So,
would you like me to call back?
No, I think that you can stay on there and talk, but just try to keep community standards in mind.
Well, of course.
All right. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm sorry about this. Second time today that it happened.
Anyway, oh, thank you for reminding me, Mad Fog, about the beanstalk. So, legend says they plant a stalk and it grows exceptionally large. Well, I mean, there were, if there were giants in the past, they had giant seeds. And if you were able to get one of these seeds from one of these giant plants, it would grow exceptionally large. If by chance you were climbing one of these giant seeds and the resonant frequency of that plant shifted, it would take you into a different dimension. It's just saying, if the top of the beanstalk resonated at a different frequency than the trunk of it, that would take you into a different dimension. And of course, if you look at the reverse of it, when you plant the seed and it goes down and it creates basically a tunnel, that would take you into the hollow earth, which would allow you to see giants that live down there. So, there's always an inverse. And that's the beautiful thing about understanding the basic fundamentals of a toroidal field. It goes back into as above, so below. Everything that is on the northern hemisphere of a toroidal field has an identical opposite on the southern hemisphere of the toroidal field. Just like Earth, you got the vortex coming out of the center of the Earth into the northern hemisphere, creating a vortex at the North Pole, and same thing at the South Pole. Everything in the northern hemisphere rotates clockwise. Everything in the southern hemisphere rotates counterclockwise. Our electromagnetic field that protects the Earth from solar radiation, those electromagnetic fields are byproducts of a toroidal field, just on a larger scale. But anyway, my main point, what I wanted to talk about tonight, is that these distractions, what we see on TV, what we see in politics, it's most of it's out of our control. We need to participate in it, because we've lost all our voice, we've lost all our power outside of our Second Amendment right, which, if we're not careful, will be outnumbered when they come to take us, because we're still not at the point where we can a call to arms comes up and people actually migrate to one point. We have no command structure. We have no outside of the internet, and if we lose that, then our great army of the United States is dwindled down to smaller and smaller communities. And then only, good news is we got enough veterans in just about every community that, our chain of command can grow from that point. But we would suffer such massive losses if the things went that route. Anyway, like I said, I don't agree with the slow rollout. I agree with take a few 100,000 losses, which would be less than what we've already lost right now. Even if they did drop bombs, it would kill fewer people than what the other thing has. So, but let's see.
We're back.
We are back.
Oh man. Oh, and it's already wonky. This is not good. So
yeah, I was freezing up for a second too, but it was just on your side.
Okay.
First grad children creating leaves stock built in.
Oh, sorry about that. It's what happens with this old computer. I was trying to show the image I was trying to bring up while you were talking about the beanstalk was an actual picture of a giant. And it's from a very famous episode of Gilligan's Island where they actually went up the beanstalk, and the skipper was the giant. He was chasing the little Gilligan. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. One of the first few episodes.
Well, it was color, so it was in the later years. But what's funny is the person who played Gilligan when they showed Skipper chasing him was actually Bob Denver's real son, like his 3-year-old son. dressed up like. So what a cool thing for him to have his son be playing him in a TV show. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Let me see if I can bring that picture up. I'm not sure.
Mad Pog mentioned something about Atlantis not being in one place. You know, one thing you got to understand is Atlantis, like Tartaria, the Tartarian Empire, Atlantis had an empire and an influence as well. It was global as well, just different timelines. Atlantis was, before the Tartarian Empire. I mean, you got to understand our history. I mean, if you go back to right around the fall of the American Empire, 1868, 18. I mean, Tesla was still alive. Everything around pre-1920, basically. Oh, that is so cool.
Isn't that cute? And of course, they had another set where the boxes were much bigger, and the real Gilligan, you could see him, but then the faraway shots, they cut to this. It was so cute.
That is awesome. But anyway, our history's been erased. The little bit of history we have is so one-sided, and it's full of absolute holes and misdirection and mislabeling and retranslating it and corruption in the translations. So trying to find the real truth of our past is insanely difficult. But we can go back and we can see that there have been recent catastrophes and recent erasures of history. I mean, the Dark Ages were not because the low sunlight. It was because no one knew how to read or write. None of the population knew how to read or write. The only ones that could read and write are the royals or the elites. So, and it was also a time when they went around and erased massive amounts of history. All right. That was, this Tartarian Empire was insanely massive. I mean, completely global. I mean, our architecture here in the United States has the same architecture all across the globe. And, these Tartarian people, I think we're descendants of them.
I keep telling Andy we need to get the chronovisor. We could solve all of these these mysteries, figure out if there was a Tartaria or
there's a lot of evidence of it. I mean,
people can say there's evidence of anything, and I don't know. I've heard about it. I've looked into it a little bit. I don't know. I think, who knows? We just don't know. We just don't know. I mean,
why do you
how much of this is psyops just to keep us busy, buzzing about something that doesn't matter, isn't real, or who knows what? I don't know. Tartaria, to me, it's kind of flat earthish to me, but that's just me. But yeah.
Right. I mean, here's the thing: is you either have to do one of two things: believe your programming, which is everything that you were taught from birth to today.
No.
That only information that you've received through mainstream education, mainstream media, and that's it. That's all that exists. Or you have to ask yourself, could we have been misled? If we have been misled, then what is the evidence stating such? Mm-hmm. And when you compare the two bits of information, you have what you're taught, which does not go in a straight line, that is full of holes, and they make you hit that I believe button a whole lot of times. Or you can look at physical evidence scattered throughout the globe, mm-hmm. and you look at ancient writings and ancient maps and ancient pictures. I say ancient, we're just anything over 100 years old, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And it paints a completely different picture mm-hmm. than what we've been told to believe.
Yeah.
So one of those two is 100% accurate, and one of those is 100% fabricated.
Well, but even I think a lot of our science is very, very flawed, and it probably will be for a long time, especially our dating knowledge about carbon dating. I don't think it's very accurate. I think that there's.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
So it's hard to really say.
And you talk about date.
What we can say is there's a lot of mysteries. There's a lot of people who've attempted to tackle these mysteries and given them certain names and different things. I was completely convinced that Nibiru was going to come close to Earth and smash into us. That never happened, and I don't think it's going to ever happen. But I mean, it's I'm not going to believe anything after that because I was like thinking, oh my God, this could be real, because somebody somewhere is making a decision to put a lot of people into certain areas and distract people. I think it's a lot of it is just distraction to me. It seems like a distraction to me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, but you're right, and I mean you're right at one thing. So everything, I mean, unless you know what to focus on, then everything outside of your focal point is a distraction. But what I look at is all the half truths and the mixed up BS and the lines that have so many breaks in them that don't add up to other stories and other histories, even though they are separated by time and distance and religions and races and cultures. They have so many similarities, and all they all tie in. Everything from the architecture, we're talking about megalithic megastructures,
Sure,
tens of ton buildings, all of these built very similar, almost identical in some places, scattered across the globe. Yet mainstream media, mainstream education tells you that, well, I mean, come on, that they were just using, copper tools and rocks to do that.
Yeah.
If you believe that, then you believe anything that they will ever tell you.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how good you are or how many people there are, you cannot move or weld 20-ton blocks together. You cannot lift them up and stack them on one another. Okay? Not using the technology that we are led to believe only exists.
Well, now there is that guy. Now there is that one guy. You've probably seen him. Oh, you've probably seen this one guy. He's got some big farmyard or something, and he takes big cement structures and he moves them. He puts a little rock under it. He can turn it. He does amazing things just with very rudimentary equipment. So some of that stuff would be possible. But yeah, it's like I said, man, the chronovisor, just dial it in and we can watch how they did it.
We don't need a time machine. We just have to have a better understanding of our world and what we are. And when you look at the toroidal field and you start to understand that everything is frequency based and everything is vibrational based, you can manipulate frequency and you can manipulate vibration. And if you can manipulate frequency and vibration, then you can create magic. All right. When you just look at the experiments they do with water, they turn on a faucet and then they have a frequency generator hooked up.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
They change the frequency and the water turns into a ladder going down, or it'll freeze. It'll look like it'll freeze in time. Yeah. Right? If you can manipulate liquid matter like that,
sure,
then you manipulate solid matter like that.
Right.
Okay. It's magic, because we don't consider this, you don't consider our science or our existence frequency or vibration based, right? So it has to be magic, because you can't have both.
I don't know. It's all a big question to me. I mean, it's a very interesting question. Still a question to me. I don't think much has been figured out. But I think maybe some people have figured things out and it's being kept from us.
Right.
And I'm sure they found a lot of this out when they were messing around with the chronovisor. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like to look, when I research people, what was his name? Michael Tellinger. Michael Tellinger, man, he did some amazing research, and then he focused his research on one aspect of the toroidal field, and that was kind of it. And then he just kind of walked away from it.
Mhm.
And more people that I see, advertising or teaching with these videos online, they focus on mostly the energy production of the toroidal field, and that's all they focus on. They don't expand their research into it, and they just kind of shut themselves off. And you can find a lot of people talking about how much free energy is built in with these toroidal fields. They're perpetual motion. Once a toroidal field is created, it constantly produces more energy than it's required to operate itself, which, I mean, if you know anything about history, perpetual motion is impossible.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to go with my dad sometimes to visit with a friend of his. His name was Herman, and Herman was an inventor. My dad was a tool maker, and my dad, I think, was making tools for this guy so he could make his little inventions. But one of the inventions he was working on was a perpetual motion machine. And he had like bicycle rims and magnets, and he had this thing going for like 13 days was his longest run of this perpetual motion machine. And I got to tell you, Carl, as a kid, seeing this old guy tinkering with magnets and getting results like that back in the 60s, I mean, it was pretty exciting for me. I mean, I was like expecting to see this guy on TV any minute with this amazing discovery. And so that really, it really made me want to be an inventor. And that's probably why I became at least a toy inventor. So
And that's great, because if he was successful and tried to monetize it or release that information to the public, he wouldn't live very long.
yeah,
I mean, you got to understand, every health professional, every doctor, every engineer, every inventor who creates anything that has to do with free energy or something that'll benefit mankind, that is cheap or almost free, they don't live very long.
right.
Okay, we've known about, they've been building engines that run off of water.
Mhm.
I know of at least 14 people who created an engine that came off of water, and either were forced to not disclose that information to the public, or they attempted to disclose the information to the public and then just disappeared, or acted as Clinton cited. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Boston, the Boston grocery store shooting.
Mhm.
One of the gentlemen, one of the victims, he just happened to be creating an engine that runs off water.
Right, I heard about that. Yeah,
Put his
Yeah.
blueprints online,
yeah,
and he gets taken out.
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
kind of,
yeah. And
You know, and
if you saw the first part of the show, there was a guy in 1989 or 88 that he was a man in black. And he gave one interview, and he gave a lot of information.
right.
And so,
But the question is do you believe him, or is that just hosh posh? Because
well,
it
he
shows
admits that he killed people. He killed whistleblowers and ufologists, and he names some of the people that he killed. So I don't know. I think that, and he died a year later. So I think you could probably extrapolate that it's probably pretty true. I mean, if you listen to his words, I mean,
I've watched his video a couple times, 3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, it's pretty moving. I mean, I don't know why you would make up that stuff. I mean, what would you gain? You wouldn't gain anything. I think it started to get to him, and he wanted to clear his chest before he died. That's what I think. And that's where we're going to get a lot of information that we never would get otherwise, unless we had the chronovisor.
What came what I was listening to, I think it was Space Shot and Grasshopper talking on a podcast earlier today, and they mentioned something that keeps getting repeated over and over and over again. And one of the things is it has to do with nukes. Now, of course, I don't know enough of the subject to bring it up, so I'll just drop it at that. But
all right, yeah, we got 3 minutes till I think we're going to probably close it down right now before it freezes on me again. I like to keep the shows under 2 hours, or 1:57:14 right now. So,
well, I'd like to thank you, Aaron. Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem. Thanks for covering for me while I was out of town here, trying to get connected again. So thanks for covering for me.
You're welcome. And I love you, Mud Rabbit, Dark Brain, Peggy Dancer, and Mad Pog, and everybody else in the chat that I haven't seen in a while. I do watch your show frequently. And just timing's a little off, and I'm not catching you live.
That's okay. I mean, I appreciate you watching the show. I really appreciate that. And if you want to help the show out, just like it and share it. That's all you got to do.
And I just a reminder, I do have a news channel. If anybody needs a different place to catch up on more accurate news, or likes my perspective on news.
All right.
I'm sure Mud Rabbit can post it for me.
Love your back, Mud Rabbit says.
All right. Bless you. Good night, Aaron.
Take care. Good night. All right, friends. Well, we heard from our friend Combat Carl again. And he's still there? Oh, now he's gone. And we did it again, folks. Episode 296. We only crashed twice. How do you like that? Only crashed twice. And now, yes, good call. It was a good call. Good to see him and good to catch up with him and see what he's all up to. All right. Well, I hope you all have a very pleasant, awesome dream tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm also going to try and put out some of those songs on either one song per video, so you can, and I'll have like a playlist so you can play the whole thing, or mix and match the way you want. Or else I'm going to do one show with a bunch of songs. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to try and put those out. So look for those. And hello, Dark Brain. You can say hi to you. Thanks, Dark Brain. Thanks for being here. You're awesome, too. All right, folks. Keep those cameras pointed to the sky so you can take a picture of that UFO and come on the Truth Quest and talk about it. Until then, peace in.